guys, what's happening? Welcome back to part 3 of the PKV EDC series. So today we are heat treating. We have done our forging, we have done our grinding, and got the shape of the blade, so now it's time to heat treat. When we heat treat, the idea, or the whole reason behind it is to refine the grain, which strengthens your blade, harden your blade, which holds the edge, and then temper the blade so that it brings the hardness down just enough to where it keeps your blade from breaking. So it's finding that balance of hardness with toughness. So the harder your knife is, the more brittle it is. The tougher it is, the softer it is. So it's finding that, like I said, finding that balance. So what I'm doing here, I've already got the process started. I'm heat treating 4 knives today. And I regulate the temperature in the forge to 1500 degrees. I do 1 knife at a time. And so with the PKV EDC that I was working on steel that is 8670, which is this steel here. So this isn't one of the EDC knives, but the steel, I'm heat treating this because I had to, confession, I had to reshoot. I messed up some shots, so I'm reshooting with the same steel though. So these 2 knives will heat treat the same way that I heat treated the 8670 EDC knives. So what I will do with these knives is I will regulate the temperature at 1500 degrees in the forge. It will soak in there, this steel will soak in there for 10 minutes. So what that's doing is refining the grain. I've already done the first step of the heat treat process really when I finished forging. What I do is I put the steel back in the forge, I bring the temperature up to 1700 degrees, and then I turn the forge off and I let it cool off in the forge for several hours, usually overnight. So then once the grinding's done, I finish the heat treat process. Usually takes most of the day. It takes me a few hours of direct hands-on of doing the soak time and everything. So this one's soaking for 15 minutes. The 8670 steel will soak for 10 minutes. And then once it comes out, I'll stick it in the vise to air cool. So it'll cool a little bit faster after this soak. And it's just refining the grain of that steel. I do snap tests with all my steel to make sure that I'm heat treating it properly to get a really good refined grain so that I can produce the best knife possible. I'm going to turn this down just a touch. So this is what I'm doing when I'm heat treating. I'm constantly adjusting the fuel to make sure that the temperature stays where I need it to stay so that the grain refines like it should. So I'm going to soak these. I'll pull it out here in just a minute and we'll hit the next step. Okay, so I've got this one in here soaking. It's just about ready to come out. I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like. Like I said, I maintain the temperature at about 1500 degrees, as close to it as I can. And it's just about ready to come out, and I'm going to stick it here in the vise to air cool. Got a nice orange color to it. And it's going to sit here and air cool. Probably take it about 15-20 minutes to cool all the way down. And then we'll go back in ready to quench. All right, so it's cooled. We've already got it back in the forge. We're bringing it up to temperature, and we're going to quench it here in just a second. Let's see if this is cooled off enough to get this out of here. So what we'll do, so those have already quenched. This one's just about ready. So what I do is I check it, get it out, check it with my magnet. Magnet's not sticking, so that's good. It's still sticking here, so it needs a few more, just another minute to get that part of it hot. And as you can see, it's pretty dark in here. I turn all the lights off. And so when I turn the reason for that is so I can see the color of the steel to know that I've got a nice even heat all the way across the blade's edge so that it's hard all the way across. A couple reasons for that. One, I want the whole blade hardened. The other reason is if it's not a nice even heat across, it'll tend to warp. Give it another check. Looks like it's getting really, really close. All right, into the oil we go.
the sizzle and the crackle of the paint can, but
alrighty. So pull it out, wipe it off, and then I like to check it with a file. So what's great is, you know, it hardened well if the file skates across it and grab that steel. So that's a good hard blade. So like it catches, which files are supposed to catch on that steel, but across hardened steel, it's just gonna skate right across. So that's a good thing. All right, last thing I do here, stick it in the vise just to make sure it stays straight as it cools. You have a few seconds sometimes if you get a little bit of a warp to straighten that warp out. Otherwise, you might break it. So when you harden it, it's at its most brittle. So once it's done cooling off here, and I can touch it by hand, it's gonna go in the oven for 4 hours. So the tempering process brings that hardness down just 1 or 2 steps, so that it holds a good edge, but it also isn't brittle. So that's pretty much it. So the temper process takes 4 hours. It goes in the oven at 350 degrees for 2 hours. Let it cool, and then back in the oven for 2 more hours, and then we're ready for a handle. So come back for part 4, and we'll work on the handle. Thank you guys for watching. Give me a like, a comment if you got any questions, and hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.